Greetings, dear players! Today we will talk about Tier 6, Tier 7, and Tier 8 SPGs. Why is it so important to change positions after firing? Does it make any sense tracking enemies using their tracers? What's the difference between the SPGs of different nations? We'll give you the answers in the video. A tracer is the visible trajectory of a flying shell and stays visible for several seconds after each shot in the zone where it was made. Large caliber guns have the most visible tracers. That's why enemy artillery can easily track your location. If you want to survive for the entire battle, you need to change your position after each shot. The easiest way to do this is to drive forwards or backwards, while the safest way is diagonal movement to any side. There are some difficulties in changing positions. Artillery that stays in the forest or near destructible objects is hard to move in SPG mode. A destroyed tree, fence, or a building is a good clue to the enemy artillery, so before each shot, you should remember the landscape and plan your route so as not to destroy objects. Depending on the dynamic of an SPG, this maneuver takes from 10 to 20 seconds. Artillery that needs more than 20 seconds to reload can easily move after each shot without making its damage per minute worse. And now let's talk about the usefulness of using tracers to shoot enemies. It might be useful to use tracers sometimes, but you'll only hit lazy players. Yes, it may be useful sometimes, but you will always shoot only lazy artillerists. But you'll only waste your shells on shooting at experienced players and harm your team. Let's find a reason for it. You spot the tracer of an enemy SPG. That means that it shot your ally and probably did damage. If you don't kill it after this, it means that time and the shells were wasted on nothing. And with each shot, you will give the enemy an opportunity to shoot you and your allies, and neither of you will be able to return fire. With this, we can make a conclusion. You can shoot enemies using tracers, but only when there are no enemy tanks that can shoot at your position. We've already told you about some methods of aiming. Now we'll show you the rationale behind another way of faster secondary aiming. There are situations in the battle when you should move your reticule to another sector fairly fast. You should lock your gun by pressing the right mouse button. Then turn the hull of your arty using the keyboard. You should turn the camera to follow your reticule. When you've turned to the necessary sector, you should place the mouse cursor on top of the reticule. As a result, you'll receive a smaller aiming circle. It may seem to you that it is hard and not very effective, but as soon as you become a more experienced player, you will understand that it'll help you aim in critical situations. Let's take a closer look at the high-tier self-propelled guns. We'll begin at the 6th tier. The SPGs S51 and SU-14 have the most powerful weapons among SPGs of their tier. Its damage averages 1,850, while its splash is 6.5 meters. It is balanced with a poor dynamic as well as reloading speed. These vehicles don't have very many shells, so it may run out in long battles. The S51 has 12 shells, and the SU-14 has 16 shells. That's why you shouldn't use these vehicles without making preparations. The GW Panther is a fast SPG in the German artillery branch. It's got pretty good horizontal elevation angles that let this vehicle control a big part of the map in a battle. Its damage is a lot lower than the damage of the Soviet SPGs, but its rate of fire is a lot higher. The Tier 6 American M12 can be proud of its aiming speed. Its damage and rate of fire are similar to those of the GW Panther. The Lorraine 155-50 is the fastest SPG on its tier. The amazing engine lets it accelerate really fast, and the maximum speed of 60 km per hour let this tank overtake medium tanks and even some light tanks. The self-propelled gun is the most convenient for moving around the map and changing the direction of fire. Of course, it has disadvantages, such as low gun damage. It averages 960. You'll destroy targets not with the quality of shots, but with the quantity of shots. Let's take a closer look at the Tier 7 SPGs. The Object 212 inherits the 203mm gun from its predecessors. However, its rates of fire and accuracy are better. The amount of shells in this arty are hard to waste during a battle, so you can equip other types of shells without worrying about common shooting. For example, several premium HE shells, which have a bigger radius for splash damage, may help you avoid having your base captured by the enemy who is behind cover. And thanks to the armor-piercing ammunition, if you are near an enemy, you can destroy your enemy with just a single shot. The GW Tiger performs the role of a Tier 7 turtle. Due to its low traverse speed, nearly any tank can flank it. Its gun has the highest damage. It averages 2,000. It's balanced with a low aiming speed, the worst accuracy among its brothers, and the poorest horizontal elevating angles. The American M40 M43 can truly be called universal. Its weapon is similar to one of the Object 212. Its average damage is 1850. It has the best horizontal elevating angles in its tier. In addition, its dynamic is much better than the dynamic of the Soviet and German vehicles. The Lorraine 155-51 is a typical French self-propelled gun. It's the most dynamic and fastest artillery. Its speed is 60 kilometers per hour, while the power of the engine is 850 horsepower and it weighs 32 tons. What else does a Scout need? Oh, sorry, this is a self-propelled gun. If enemies get through one of your flanks and nobody can cover, you can run away from danger very quickly. It has the best accuracy and aiming speed in the 7th tier. The single drawback is its low damage, which averages 1250. The 8th tier contains the best SPGs. If you look at these vehicles, you can see the distinct differences. The Object 261 really differs from its predecessors. Instead of a slow and hulking vehicle, you receive one of the most dynamic and accurate self-propelled guns in the 8th tier. The average damage of its HE shell is the lowest in the tier. It averages 1700. However, due to the high accuracy and rate of fire, you can easily use AP shells. It's independent artillery that can run away from enemies as well as prevent flanking or get to the rear. The GW Type E is equipped with a gun similar to the GW Tiger, but its rate of fire, accuracy, and aiming speed are better. It's the most stationary SPG of this tier. That's why it's often used on the global map or in tank companies, because they don't leave it without any defenses. The T-92 has the most powerful gun that has an average damage of 2,250. It also has the largest area for splash damage. It averages 10 meters with simple shells and 30 meters with a premium HE shell. It lets this vehicle get enemies out from behind almost any kind of cover. This firepower is balanced with the long reloading. Its rate is 40 seconds, and slow aiming speed, which won't let you turn your attention from one flank to another. The Battalion 155 is a unique self-propelled gun because it's equipped with an autoloader which reloads in a bit over a minute. It carries 4 shells in the autoloader, and each of them can do 1250 damage. Reloading inside the loader takes 5 seconds. It gives an opportunity to focus on a target and do a lot of damage. This is the second gun after the Su-26 SPG that has a turret that turns 360 degrees. Due to this feature, it has a faster aiming speed that lets it control all flanks, and the French dynamics let this vehicle change positions during a battle without any trouble at all. Now let's talk about equipment. It's the same for all self-propelled guns. To begin with, you should improve your rate of fire. To do that, you should buy artillery shell rammer. However, you can't equip it on the Battalion 155. You should also improve your aiming speed by buying the enhanced gun laying drive. There are also SPGs that can be equipped with ventilation to improve all characteristics. These are the Su-14, the Object 212, and the Battalion 155. For the rest of the SPGs, you should improve view range with optics or binocular telescope. Camouflage net is almost useless on the high-tier vehicles, and it will occupy a useful free slot. Consumables are also common. Repair kits, first aid kits, and gasoline or oil in the 3rd slot, according to the nation you play, will make you a bit faster. We've already told you which skills you'd better learn in our guide for the Tier 4 and the Tier 5 SPGs, so let's cover it again. To begin with, the commander should learn Sixth Sense. When you discover that you're spotted, you should search for cover. The gunner should learn Snapshot to improve your aiming. As for the driver, he should learn off-road driving and clutch braking to change positions faster in order to dodge shells in dangerous situations faster. The radio operator should learn situational awareness. Combined with equipment, you'll see farther. The second skill to learn for the entire crew should be Brothers in Arms, which will improve the characteristics of the SPG. If you've got an experienced and trained crew and it has already learned 3 or more skills, we highly recommend you learn a few other skills like these: Ringcon, Jack of all trades, and Armorer. We hope that this video will help you understand the differences between the high-tier artillery pieces to make the right decision and improve your play when using these specific vehicles. We're looking forward to hearing your feedback on our forum. Bye for now.